So today I'm gonna be doing a couple challenges on EDABIT, and EDABIT is really good for doing like small coding challenges. And as you can see, there's a lot of options to choose from. Obviously, I'm doing Python, and you can choose your difficulty. So that's pretty cool. As you can see, I've done a number of very easy and easy. Still grinding through. That's cringe. Anyway, so I have five problems I want to go through today. All right, so this one is called Go Corona, and create a function that takes the number of daily average recovered cases, which is the variable it recovers, daily average new cases, which is a variable new cases, and current active cases, and it returns the number of days it will take to reach 0 cases. Alright, so as you can see, there's a function here called ncorona, and you can input the input numbers. So this is how many people recovered in a day, how many people got corona in a day, and the total number of active cases. And so if you can do this by subtracting new cases by recovered cases per day, so you'll get 2,000, and then you can do active cases divided by the just divided by 2,000. So I'll show you here. 4,000 minus 2,000, that equals 2,000. So 77,000 divided by 2,000 equals 38.5. Alright, and 38.5 rounded up is 39, and we can do the same here. So 5,699 divided by 1,000 equals 51. Well, it doesn't equal 51, it equals 50.699, but rounded up is 51. And over here you can do you can create a new variable, which is recovered daily equals recovers subtracted by new cases, and then you can print recovered daily. And the reason I print it is because it becomes a lot more easier. Oh my god, my laptop is heating up. It becomes a lot more easier to debug. So oops, just put it in there. Alright, then the new function called total days, that equals active cases divided by recovered daily, and we're going to print total days, and then we're going to return total days, and that should get us the answer, right? No, incorrect, because we did not round it up. Now there's several ways to do this. The most simple way is to import a module called math, and then so we can, and math introduces new functions like floor and ceil, which and so obviously the floor rounds a float, which is a data type. So there are a couple data types in Python, which is integer, which is integer is a whole number, which can be negative or positive, strings, which is text, and booleans, which is true and false, only 2 types, and floats, which is decimal points, or like decimal numbers. As you can see here, 38.5 is a float. Now it should return 39 but we didn't return 39 because it didn't round up. And we can do this by importing the math module and using the ceil function. Right, just seal that, and then print ceil total days. Alright, it should work. Alright, we probably should have imported it. Inside the function. Oh, my bad. Okay, okay, so we have to do math.seal. Alright, that makes a lot more sense. Alright, instead of doing seal, we have to do math.seal. Alright, because we're accessing the module and then using one of the functions included in the module, and that should work. Alright, test passed, every single test passed. Alright, great. Now we can exit that one. Alright, this one. Oh my god. Create a function that returns a string burp with the amount of r's determined by the input parameters of the function. So as you can see here, there are 3 r's. Because it's... Alright, we can just do that by doing, burp r equals r times number print r. Alright, no, print number, print num, and then we can concatenate that with print, alright, print burp plus r plus p. If you don't know what I did, I just made a variable called r and multiplied the string r by how many numbers specified with the num variable, and I printed r so I can debug it, and then I printed bu, the string, plus r, which is the variable, plus p, and I didn't include it in quotation marks because then it would just return one single r, but I wanted to print the variable r, and then we're gonna return this, and it should work. Alright, test passed, perfect. Alright, we can go on to the next one. Triangle and parallelogram area finder. Alright, write a function that accepts base, decimal height, decimal, and shape triangle as input and calculates the area of that shape. Alright, so the formula, obviously, to get the area of a triangle is half of the base times height, and that's because a triangle is literally half of a square, and so if to get the area of a square, you have to multiply base times height, or length and width, and half of a square is a triangle, so it makes sense to half the product of base times height. Alright, so over here it says triangle, parallelogram. Alright, so those are input functions. Just input variables. Alright, so if shape equals triangle, I'm making an if statement so that so it'll return something specifically if something is mentioned. Alright, so if shape equals triangle, return 1/2 times base times height. Else, since there's nothing else since the only other shape will be a parallelogram, we don't need an elif statement, so we can just do base, return base times height, and then up here we're gonna just print a bunch of stuff, base, height, shape, and then we're gonna print this, and then we're gonna print this. Okay. Alright, let's check the code. Alright, so it was a triangle up here, and so 2 times 3 divided by 2 is 3, test passed, every single test passed. Great. So we can move on to the next one. Is the last character an n? Okay, so it'll return a Boolean value, which is either true or false. That's what it says over here. Alright, so if word -1, so that'll select the last letter in a string, equals n, return true. Else return, oops, can't clock, return false. Or you can, so this is one way to do it, but if you're into minimalistic code, which is do more with less lines of code and neat code, I recommend you do just a single return function, and then word -1 equals n, and you don't need to include an if, so either one works. Let's just do command X so we can just cut that out. Alright, so every single test pass, but you can also do this one, which is a way less code. Alright, and I really recommend you getting into minimalist coding so that your files aren't as large, and it looks neater. So we're done with that one. And Curzon numbers. In this challenge, establish if a given integer, which is the variable num, is a Curzon number if 1 plus 2 elevated to num is exactly divisible by 1 plus 2 multiplied by num, then num is a Curzon number. Okay, well, we can get started. If okay, well, how do I do this? Alright, 2 elevated to num. Alright, so 2 to the power of num. We can store that in a variable. First Curzon equals 2 elevated to num plus 1, I think. Plus 1, alright, so plus 1. And then we're gonna do print num up here, print first Curzon, and then we're gonna do second Curzon equals 2 times that number. Alright, 2 was 2 times num plus 1. And we're gonna use an if statement. If first Curzon divided by, alright, so this operator is division, but it checks if there are no remainders and if it still stays an integer, like a whole number without any decimals. So if first Curzon divided by, or like the remainder of first Curzon and second Curzon equals 0, return true, false, return false. And you can do this in less lines of code, of course, but I just really want to visualize all the variables and printing and not use minimalist because in my opinion it's easier to read. Or like just know what you're doing if you're not doing minimalist. Alright, every single test pass. Whoa, that is a big number. Alright, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed, maybe you learned something. Check out EDABIT. I'm not sponsored at all, but I think it is a great tool to improve your coding skills. Alright, thanks guys. See you next time.